Okay, in order to do a triaxial weave, you have to have a grid drawn with our 30-degree angles on it. The first thing that we do, we take our foam board, which is probably about 22 by 28. Anyway, it can be a 1/2 inch thick or a 1/4 inch thick, whatever you can find. The first thing that we'll do is we will draw a line at the bottom, one inch from the bottom. Just draw a line. I would advise using a magic marker, a fine magic marker, because these lines will have to be seen under a fusible. Then we are going to take and find our 30-degree mark on our ruler. You're going to line that mark on that line that you just drew. You want to try to get to the corner and then just draw another line from right to left. Then we have to do the same thing on the other side. We take our ruler, find your 30-degree mark, line it up on the first line that you drew from the 1 inch, and you're going to go corner to corner again, this time left to right. At the center of this X, you can place your pen. Because the object of what we're doing now is to draw a straight line from lining up your 1 inch mark, putting your pen at the center, and draw up as far as it'll go. In order to finish out your grid, you will then do inch marks from this line, and this line, not the first one that you did. So you're going to do that all the way over, all the way back. The same thing for all of your other lines. On the first line that you drew, you can mark this line A. On this second line, you can mark this one B. And you'll see why as we progress. Okay, that didn't take long, did it, getting that grid drawn? Next thing that we have to do is we have to put on our little soft fusible with the glue side up. I usually will pin that with these little pins that are petite pearlized pins that I purchased from Joann's. They also have some that have different colors on the tops of them. I like these because they're short, and our board is a 1/4 inch thick, unless you've gotten the 1/2 inch, but it's just nice to use these pins with this project. They also don't get in the way of your weaving. So I generally will just tack down the corners so that it doesn't move on me. Okay, for our project, we are going to be using 7/8 inch gross grain ribbon. We usually use a dark, a medium, and a light. I went with red, white, and blue because they go together, but you can do another kind of a dark or medium. We're going to do 3 colors and that will produce our tumbling block pattern. Now, I know this is 7/8 inch and we drew a 1-inch grid. Usually when you're working, you are probably going to be using cotton fabric that you would normally use in your quilting. You would cut this 2 inches and then you would pull it through a bias maker and iron this using starch. Starch is the best because it makes it real stiff and it's easier to weave when it's stiff. If you don't have a bias maker, what you can do is you just iron it to the middle, and that produces a 1-inch strip, which perfectly fits on this grid that you've drawn. However, now we are using the 7/8 inch gross grain ribbon mainly to save time on this project. I cut 10 strips 15 inches long. I'm going to start by lining that up on this towards the middle line. I'm going to put my pin in sort of straight and then twist it towards the back, turn towards the back. I'm going to do the same thing here. Straight in and then kind of catty corner it. When you put in your next strip, don't use your line. You want to use your ribbon. You want to keep, you don't want to have any of your white showing if at all possible. So just abut this up next to each other. And then you want to work your way over from the middle, putting your strips down. When we come back, we're going to start on our second layer, which will be done on our 30-degree lines. All right, now we're ready to start our second layer of weaving. Remember, this is called a triaxial weave. That means it's going to have 3 layers. Your 15 inches straight, that's your easiest one. Now we're ready for our second weaving. Notice we marked our lines A and A. This is how we are going to be weaving using that guide. So our first strip goes over 1, under 2, over 1, under 2, over 1, under 2, and then over 1. So here's my A, here's my A. I'm going to put in 1 pin right here because this is my first weaving, my first weaving of that second layer. I'm going to put in another pin here, and then I'm going to cut my ribbon. This may seem wasteful right now because it's so much of an overhang, but when we get to that third layer and we're working those layers in, it will be helpful that this layer is out of the way. Now, and I will be giving you written instructions so that we don't have to remember this. Our second strip will go under 1, over 1, and then under 2. Over 1 and under 2. Over 1 and under 2. So we can check it. We go under 1, over 1, under 2, over 1, under 2, over 1, under 2. This is our second strip. We're going to try to keep no white showing. And so this time I'm going to put in 2 pins. First strip, second strip, 1 pin, 2 pins. And you can just put 1 in down here. The ones up here will be our controls. And now for our third strip that's going to go in here. The third strip goes under 2, over 1, under 2, over 1, under 2, over 1. I will put in 3 pins. And that way I'm not going to get mixed up as to what strip number I'm on. Now, we will continue to do the first way. We're going to do another 1, another 2, and another 3. And you do that all the way up to finish, and then you do that going down. Now, don't make the same mistake I did in thinking that this is going to be 2, because this is 1, 2, 3. It doesn't work that way. 3, 2, 1. This strip will be 3, 3, 2, 1. Up here it's 1, 2, 3, so it'll be 1, 2, 3. And that's how you will finish this out. Even when you get down here at the bottom, if you don't have enough room here, always remember this is the first, this is 1, 2, 1, 2, so that if it's over 1, under 1, and I'm probably confusing you right now, you pretend that you're working with these even when you're only working with this much of your strips. I will try to show you that as we get closer to those objects. Okay, you'll see from the last section, I've gone 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm running out of total strips. And here I went, started with the 3, 2, 1. So I'm going to go up here and just show you what you're going to be doing as you finish this out, because you see we still have this whole area to go. So I'm on 1, 2, 3, so this is going to be 1. On 1 we go over 1 and under 2, so I'm going to go over 1, under 2, over 1, under 2, over this 1, and under these 2, and see that's going to be hard to get under that one. So I'm going to have to remove that pin. And make sure I put it back. And then I've got to go over this one, and that pin's in the way. So I'll just move that pin and make sure that when I put that pin back that I've pinned the red ribbon under there. Remember, I'm putting my number 1 pin there since this was the first weaving. Then I'm going to jump down here. That was 3, so this is going to become 2. And on 2, we do under 1, over 1. So under 1, and you can see I'm not going to be able to do under this one without lifting that up. So under 1, over 1, and then under 2. Over 1, under 2, over 1, and under 2. And looks like I missed that a little bit. There we go. And again, this is 2, so I'll put in 2 pins here so I'll know what I'm doing. And just to continue, this is going to be 1, the number 1 strip, just like this one. So it's over 1, under 2. And this is my first strip. So it's actually over this strip, which we're out of strip. So over this one, and then I have to go under 2. So I'll be going under these 2. And this is where it sort of gets tedious on us. We'll move these pins. And you want to remain with your 30 degrees angle. So it's over 1, under 2. So we have to get under these 2. And over 1, and under 2. And you'll finish the strip out in the same way, over 1, under 2, and the over 1. This is 1, so we put 1 pin there. If we need to, we can straighten this out a little bit. But we want to make sure that we have no white underneath showing with these ribbons. And then we'll continue that, finishing off. When we come back, these will be finished, and then we'll start on our 3rd and final layer. and weaving, and that will bring this to life. You will see the tumbling blocks then appear. Okay, as promised, this third layer of weaving will be what brings this weaving to life. You'll start to see the little tumbling blocks appear. Remember that we're working on a 30-degree angle, so our B line and B line. Now I want you to look and see you have a diamond, and a diamond. Some people will call those a backwards Z. Some people will call it a butterfly with wings or a bird with wings. Somehow that never made sense to me. The way that I was able to comprehend it is a long diamond with two little diamonds on the side. And if we remember that we're working on this 30-degree angle, it'll be easier to see these. Here's another one. There's several ways to approach putting your third layer in. I keep some frog tape. Sometimes I'll do frog tape here, especially when I'm working with the ribbon. This works fairly easily just to pull this through. And you can start seeing your tumbling blocks appear. We have to come through here and get this one, this one, this one. Okay, and we'll come back down to this end. And it looks like we're going to have to go under this one. So this will be our first row. And you can see the B and the B that we did before kind of helps us keep that on the right path. Now, they make a wefty ruler, and we will talk about where we can purchase that. When we're working on the third layer, you put the number 1 side up and just sort of thread this. But you still have to look for your diamonds. So here's one in the next row. And then this would be one here. Let's see if I've spotted these correctly. Under. We have to remember that this is where it ends. So here's one, here's one. Here's another diamond, remember? Coming up on the above row. And then we have another other one. So, I don't think I have this last one right. We'll have to look at it. Let's see. We have our tumbling block, our tumbling block, our tumbling block. Under this one, right? And we're at the end of our line. Our weaving ends right here. And I have one that's finished with the third row, and I want to bring that over and show it to you so that you can see what we're aiming for. You can see all of the blocks. These will stop. You can see where it'll stop. Where it'll stop. And up here. And then here. And the way that you do stop these is you will take, the first thing that you'll do, remember that you have your fusing, your soft fusing, fusible web. You're going to take an iron, not real hot, but just hot enough to blot it, that we start getting these to glue down and to hold. Then we're going to take tape, just like I showed you with the ribbon, and we're going to mark where we want. We're going to put tape along here and take out our pins as we get to it and put tape down so that we know exactly where this is going to end. What we'll end up doing is, after it's ironed and taped, then we're going to take out any remaining pins, and then we are going to run a seam 1/4 inch away from that tape. And then we'll be able to cut right outside that 1/4 inch seam. And then we will go from there.